That I would like to thank all of the organizers, starting with the chairman of MÜSİAD and IBF. I would like to thank all of them for their efforts in bringing us together. Now we will be talking about a very important issue today.
Pardon.
And
Ceyda mı? Ceyda mıydı senin? İngilizce değil misin ki? Tamam.
now today we are feeling the effects of the pandemic very immensely. And we are understanding the importance of health. Healthy individuals and being healthy became such a key part of our conversation today. And at the same time, we realize the importance and the place of healthcare within our daily lives. And now I would like to bring the healthcare, the importance and the significance of the healthcare workers and healthcare services in our lives. We have been experiencing these problems firsthand before, but with the pandemic, we are now realizing their importance even more. Because even in the hardest times, healthcare systems and services, whenever you go to them, whenever you apply for these services, you are usually at your lowest level. And to receive a good service with good infrastructure has always been important to us. You expect that because you are at your lowest level, you are trying to get back to your health, get back to your healthy state. And within our society, the healthcare, even the violence in healthcare, has been really apparent throughout the years. And now we are trying to connect the public and the healthcare service providers and the workers in the healthcare system together. We have to find a connection between them because we realize every day how important it is to be unified within the society. And this pandemic showed us the importance of our health and the importance of the healthcare services. So today we will be talking about this very important issue, and during this process, what did we experience in terms of healthcare and how it was affected during the pandemic in this virus environment, how the services were affected, how the supply got affected, our individual lives, how did it affect our individual lives in terms of healthcare. We will be handling these issues today, and alongside with these issues, we will talk about how the healthcare sector tried to manage this crisis environment. We will take ourselves to the center and we will try to focus on finding an answer. And then we will be talking about the projections for our future in terms of healthcare services. A lot of things have been changing throughout this pandemic, and not only in sectors, but in our daily lives as well, individually and as a public. We will see a lot of companies, a lot of new businesses or new sectors that will be booming after the pandemic, and then there will be some that will lose their importance during this whole process. And first of all, we have Dr. Faculty Member, esteemed Mustafa Can Türk. He is from Medical Park Gazi Osman Paşa Hospital, and at the same time, he is also in the healthcare committee of the Chamber of Commerce. And he will be talking about where we are at the healthcare services aspect of this pandemic. And we will also talk about the medical products supply. And secondly, Ömer and Zeynep Şensoy will be talking to us through Zoom connection. They are connected to Zoom and they will be talking to us. Alongside with technical services, they will talk about the wellness in terms of physical, alongside the physical aspect, they will be talking about the spiritual aspect as well, from their point of view. They will be talking about e-fitness, and we will share their opinions, and they will share with us their contributions. And thirdly, Mr. Süleyman Tuna is here with us. He will be talking about one of the most important issues in this pandemic environment. He will be talking about care. He is the president of the Çarem Care Center, and care at home or care for the geriatric patients, all elderly people. We realized during this pandemic that how important it is for us to have a good care, and especially at home in terms of nutrition, in terms of our resilience and our keeping up our health and energy. He will be sharing his opinions with us, and with these three speeches we will conclude our panel. We have a belief that says, our body and our mind should be our treasure. And this is a belief that comes from our religion as well. In the background, we always need to take care of our bodies. We need to take care of our minds. And let's talk about how we will evaluate ourselves, and how medical supplies and medical, for example, personal protective equipment that are used in the medical sector. We, as you all know, have some experience with how difficult it was to provide protective equipment for all the healthcare workers, and even the producers had some problems with supplying the equipment because of financial reasons. And these could be also taken into our agenda today. Especially hospital services and health tourism have taken a hit. It has been a difficult year, of course, for many sectors, but these sectors have especially been affected because there were a lot of big investments in these areas. And we will also touch upon the fact that there will be some different future projections for these areas. And also there is the entrepreneurship of our people. A lot of countries had problems with providing or supplying goods, but in our country also some public institutions and their positive contributions also combined with the entrepreneurship of our people gave us a positive boost in this pandemic. And maybe we can tap into a little bit more of this issue, how we can use this entrepreneurship and these support system within the society into an opportunity, basically, because these pandemics or these disasters or whatever you call them, they will never stop. Of course, we will see other problems like this pandemic in the future. So with this opening, I just tried to give you the framework of what we'll be mentioning during our panel. And of course, our speakers will be going into depth, into a little bit more detail. And first of all, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Dr. Mustafa Can Türk. The floor is yours. We can start. Thank you very much. First of all, let me start by thanking MÜSİAD for this IBF forum. I would like to welcome all of you. Thank you to MÜSİAD for organizing this event. As you all know, health is not a state of wellness just about the body. It's not just physical wellness. It is also a wellness in the social and individual spiritual level. Even the World Health Organization describes it that way because you can actually twist and tweak and correct anything that is physical to some extent, but in the sense of social and individual health and wellness, it is a difficult task and that we need to focus on, especially the public investments and rich investments from the public is really important in that sense. And we know that, and we realize that even more during the pandemic, because individual struggle does not really help, because we need to connect, we need to get the support of the public in general. And also we saw that the insufficiency or lack of healthcare systems, well-functioning healthcare systems, even in rich countries such as the United States, we saw the effects of the pandemic. I will just have a short presentation. I will show you my presentation about the yesterday, today, and tomorrow of healthcare. And I will be talking about how we work in terms of healthcare as the Chamber of Commerce, and we will then move on to a little bit more interactive side. Can I take the mic, please? Years ago, we went into the hospital sector. There were really small hospitals, almost like that look like homes in your neighborhood. Now, looking at the state of hospitals today, they are almost universities, campuses, and there are a lot of a great number of students, and it creates employment opportunities for our country. So, looking at our past, I think it was a compass for us, for our future. Now, I will show you later on our compass and how we moved from the past to the current state that we are in. There are some sectors that are emerging that will be hopeful for the 10 or 20 years to come. And healthcare sector has never went out of this list because in order to provide the services, any service that you can think of, if you don't have your health, you cannot do anything. You cannot do automotive, you cannot do technology without health. So healthcare investments create the brightest future for any country. Today, I will just touch upon it very briefly. I will give the floor to my colleagues here. Looking at the private healthcare sector, because I'm not representing the public health sector, but when we look at the yesterday, today, and tomorrow of the private healthcare sector, now I will share with you some information. We had so many different legislations and directives about our healthcare system. We would always worry about what the length of a ladder should be, or different trivial things. But now, today, having a car park, having a green area in our hospitals, uh, traffic noise, being away from the traffic noise, we now are able to detect any problem that we might encounter. In this new legislation, in the new directives and regulations, we choose our hospitals and our buildings, and they are standardized. And this is a very healthy transformation project for Turkey. This has been so because it actually uh, corrected the sector from the root up. We started from the bottom and developed into this state because it is impossible without the investment to uh, infrastructure. And we knew and we learned again that manpower, the labor, is what makes our healthcare system functioning really well. We have been using technology in any way you can think of. We have automatic vacuum systems, we have state-of-the-art laboratories, we have operation rooms that are completely equipped with technological investments. And this actually shows, this is reflective of your healthcare system's success, basically. Our management process, uh, it used to be like this. There was a head physician, and there was a some person that is responsible for the financial issues, and there were just departments, scattered departments under these two people. And now, when we moved on to today, and when we have our insights about the healthcare system, we learned that these are all interconnected. So you have to have someone who knows about economy, who knows about the financial issues, and who know professionally how to manage hospitals. And after that, with these professional management departments and with this scheme, now hospital management became something much more complex, and this actually led to a better use of resources and better use of economic policies. And we saw that in the recent years, the public hospitals started to use this system as well. So this is kind of an example for the public sector in healthcare systems. There are general managers now in a lot of hospitals, public hospitals as well. This is actually a model taken from private hospitals, because if it is basically a company that you are running, you have to be really appreciative of a professional management. Just being a physician is not enough for managing a hospital. Another important issue is the financial structure. In the past, this used to be, eight, five people, whatever, a group of people would just come together and open up a boutique hospital. But we realized that this is not a sustainable system. We started to move towards foreign investors and foreign shareholders, for example. We grew the system into something else. We created a live economy in Turkey in terms of healthcare, or other countries that we are collaborating with. And with this live or living structure, these hospitals started to become more and more in number. And then this is all like triggering something, a reaction, a chain reaction. Looking at the quality aspect of things, in the beginning of my speech, I talked about the yesterday of healthcare. Quality was not much of an issue back then. But today, when we look at especially the private hospitals that I'm representing here, in the private hospital systems, or among private hospitals, there are some quality assurance documents that we need to obtain in order to show that we are actually qualified to provide healthcare services. And this actually was, for example, scoring system sometimes included the patient scores. Patients who came to your hospital actually gave you scores to show your or prove your quality. It doesn't matter what you say. You can say, I have this many people coming to my hospital, I provide these and these services. You can say anything you want, but if the score that comes from your patients is low, it doesn't mean anything. This is a very good quality assurance system, because that means that if you are able to obtain 5 out of 5 points or scores from your patients, this is what really matters. Or other than that, the international accreditations, they don't mean anything. You can go and take your documents or quality certificate from, I don't know, Turkish Standard Institute. It doesn't matter anything. This is something that you already have to do, but the patients, the satisfaction of the patients, this is what really drives being better in what you're doing. Employment is another title on my presentation. As the Medical Park Hospital Group, we are now employing approximately 10,000 people. Now, these numbers are increasing every day, and in the growth of the private hospital uh, hospitals and this system, healthcare system in general, uh, we are actually increasing employment and increasing the employment of qualified workers. These people are well trained and they are receiving certificates. These are qualified workers. And healthcare systems and healthcare investments are actually one of the most important investments that keep the qualified people from unemployment. This is really important, I think, for all of us, for all of our country. Now there are also some legal processes too. In every private hospital, you will see, for example, patients' rights departments. This is again another interconnected title with the quality, because in order to be a really well qualified hospital, and if you are claiming that you are providing a well quality service for your patients, you have to have that legal department in your hospital, and you have to respect your patients' rights, and you have to do anything to protect them. A lot of countries don't have the whole model that we have in Turkey. And this is the general healthcare insurance. This is the general healthcare insurance is a model that leaves no one out of the insurance system. No other country in the world globally has this system. I went to many countries. I visited other healthcare institutions and other private hospitals. Everywhere I go, people ask me, how do you manage to do that? How can you provide healthcare insurance for all people, for all public? And I think this is very different. Uh, this is a model that is unique to Turkey, unique to our country, and it actually boosted the private hospital system as well. In 2002, we had 275 private hospitals. Now it is around 575. And after 2000s, beginning of the 2000s, and especially with the 2003's transformation campaign in healthcare system, it really boosted both the quality and the quantity of private hospitals. A lot of people, for example, children in our country, even if their parents are not working, even if they are unemployed, they are insured from the beginning. So this is a very unique service that is provided in Turkey. Selling or procuring healthcare services to social security institution, for example, it is not a sustainable model. there are a lot of different issues with the institution in terms of the social security institution. We have to also take a look at the situation from the MÜSİAD or Chamber of Commerce point of view. We are always in connection with the ministry, and we want to turn the system into a sustainable system. Since maybe 2003, I can say, the social security institutions, they have suit prices, and maybe 1 or 2% increase has been seen in those prices, and the rest is the same. So mathematically speaking, the healthcare providers that actually managed to stay alive during these all these years, we need to congratulate them, because there have been some issues with the public and the private hospitals. There's a huge difference. For example, uh, there are some really costly aspects of this relationship with the public and private hospital sectors. So it is a good skill to be able to stay alive and stay standing up in the private sector in Turkey. And as you all know, the Minister of Health actually came from a private hospital background and private sector background. And our president, esteemed president, has always said that we need to work on these issues. And I agree, we need to make it a sustainable system. Just like I mentioned before, I will now show you our compass. We need to be patient focused. We need to focus on the patient in the private healthcare sector, because I'm talking about the private healthcare sector because I am representing that. Uh, there is something we call TUS, which is healthcare, providing healthcare that is consistent with demand. There are a lot of different aspects of this compass that we have. There are a lot of different areas. If you put the patient into the focus, into the center in the private healthcare system, then if you also pay attention to your doctors, your demand, your time, timeliness, your technology, and your trust and your communication, these are all connected, and these are all the pathway to a better quality in healthcare system. So what about tomorrow? Now there are some prohibitions and some limits. You cannot come to the hospitals really with ease of mind, but you have to come and you have to get healthcare services. This could be psychological or organic, physical uh, difficulties that you're experiencing. Now we actually created some infrastructure for video conference examinations. This is very important, I think, uh, and it is actually really smart, because even if you cannot be there physically with your patient, we try to ease their pain, ease their. Uh, we try to give them a peace of mind through video conference examinations, through whatever they told our doctors, and if it could not be solved through video conference examinations, then we send ambulances to people's houses, or we ask them to come see us physically in the examination rooms. And this is, I think, uh, the future of healthcare services, because think about it, when you're working, you cannot always, unfortunately, leave work and come see a doctor. So this will be, I think, applied to a lot of different areas in the future. And we are actually doing for example, if you are going to take an AKG of someone, you can actually do it with smartphones and smart watches now. And you can actually do the examination for, I don't know, cardiac problems or pulmonary problems. And these will increase in the future in numbers, these technologies. Now we are at a level that is actually making our lives easier, but this will always improve itself. Also, there have been some implementations such as going to offices or houses of patients to draw blood or to do ultrasounds or radiological imaging. And also, another very unique and very well functioning system for Turkey is e-Pulse or e-Nabız as we call it, and HES system, which is actually following you and your healthcare status at home. Here you can see our team from the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce, and I am also a member of the assembly. We are trying to improve the healthcare system in Turkey and to protect the rights of both patients and the hospital management. And MÜSİAD and Istanbul Chamber of Commerce and associations and healthcare uh, centers, their existence, their bare existence is actually leading the way in making healthcare better and accessible to everyone. There are a lot of NGOs that are working to make healthcare system better in Turkey. This is not just completed with the help of governments or with the help of countries themselves. This is our past, the healthcare, the past of healthcare. But here you can see my past. It is probably around 2007 with our president, Mr. Erdogan. And here today, we got older, but our lives continue. And I always show this slide to my students as well. In these sectors, when you're going, setting out your roadmap, or when you're opening up your hospital, you have to imagine, you have to dream whatever you want to do. In order to keep your dreams from dying, you have to have a very good infrastructure. The things that I mentioned in my presentation was the theoretical part of uh, what we need to do, but we talked about our past and today, but for our future, we need investments and we need to also touch upon the supply chain. Supply chain is really important, and the importance of it was actually becoming more and more evident during this pandemic, because if you don't have masks, if you don't have oxygen tubes, if you don't have the medication or anything for sutures, you cannot do anything because you have to have those materials provided to you. So there needs to be this supply chain, and you need the institutions that provide the supply chain. And during this COVID pandemic, we saw how important it is. We had some problems regarding the supply chain, but we used to kind of push it under the rug and we didn't really pay attention to it. We did, but it was insufficient. But now, today, in a very short time, we saw a lot of good and fast and rapid moving uh, solutions, and we actually started to provide equipment, protective equipment for other countries. And this shows how our business people, how our entrepreneurs are able to find really smart solutions to and really rapidly to these problems. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.
Thank you. When we look at the future, we can see the health services and the other technological advances on the internet environment has been a major talking point on the agenda. But this fact showed us that these topics should be accelerated. And to be handled more. Thank you very much. In the next process, one of the areas that the health industry will need is investing on such instruments and areas. I would like to thank you once again. Our next speaker is Mr. Ömer Şensoy and Ms. Zeynep Şensoy. Especially, they will be talking about individual development and individual resilience on well-being, especially during COVID-19. We saw that well-being was really important during the COVID-19. They will talk about the methods and procedures that they implement on this process. Our meeting will be through Zoom. Welcome. Can you hear us? Could you close the YouTube? Okay. Now you can hear us. Welcome. Thank you. We believe that your speech will be really beneficial in this important topic. Thank you for giving us time. Mr. Mustafa has had a really nice opening before us. Our presentation is, I'm going to share my screen now. Could you see it? Yes. Yes. I'm Ömer Şensoy, and here's my wife, Zeynep Şensoy. I'm on the technical part of this process. Zeynep will talk about the real case scenarios on the individuals. Our topic is living healthy during COVID-19 pandemics. But before that, we had a different journey on our sports training on the internet, sports training that we conducted. We had an industrial revolution that we read on the books. We missed it, but we have an IT boom, IT revolution that we are facing today. But when we look at the industries and businesses, we see that there is an X company being the leading actor in that Y sector without needing any resources. So in this sense, we can give the example of Uber. For example, Airbnb is one of the biggest hotel management companies, but they don't have any hotels. And with the motto that you can do sports without going out of your comfort zone, we conducted this training program. So we have a motto again, we hashtag, there is life at home. But this is something that we consider and contemplate on, saying that is there really life at home? Which is really important, both psychologically and also in terms of our body. So I will go from macro to micro. In the world, for example, we can give the example of Apple Fitness. They developed the fitness application. They introduced earlier, but I think they'll launch at the last quarter of 2020. So as our professor said, that these applications can calculate our pulses, but they're integrated in many devices as well. For example, you can integrate this device with any device at your home, and they invested in this area too. Another example is Ironman, for example. There's a triathlon competition called Ironman. You swim 4 kilometers and you also run for 120 meters, and you complete a tour. So this competition is organized in many cities of the world, in the countries, but due to COVID-19 they suspended all of the activities, but they found an alternative of this, not just one alternative but many alternatives, which was organizing this competition in a virtual way. So the question that we should ask is, did we have to do it, or is it really obligation for us for the future as well to do such business? If we create such graphic here on the top, we have customer satisfaction. On the right, we have the time. In every sector, we have a solution, a standardized single solution. Consumers are pleased at one level to some extent, but new solution proposal, if you place it here, will mean that this will start at the very at low level, below the threshold, but it increases in time. And the companies in a short time can catch this status quo, and then they go above the threshold and make it more standardized in our life. So, as I said, I'm going to talk about the e-fitness. As I said, I talked about the technical part as well. Hello, I'm Zeynep. I'm an economist, actually, but sports has been a central, integrated part of our lives. It was focused on sports always. We used to provide trainings in the studio and also outside. But after the pandemics, our life changed, and we thought, how can we continue? And we thought we can move into the virtual way. But in past, nobody knew about it, and we also said, is this going to be really successful, going fully online? And then we started with a training program with 8 people, with 8 students, and also we created a YouTube channel in which we conducted many training programs on yoga as well, and then the people watched it many times, and we had more than 1 million views. It's not about the aesthetical concerns of people, but it stemmed from the migraine attacks, the teeth problems, the throat problems, all of the bodily problems was addressed in our trainings. And we also saw that during the pandemics, of course, we provided trainings for 8 people, and then we saw that these 8 people became 200. And people started to start to be attracted into online learning. And surely when people cannot go outside and when they're at home, they always thought about going online and trying to learn something. And we uploaded a video about walking at the home, for which was 30 minutes long, but it was viewed by more than 776,000 people. And of course we had many problems, and this kind of trainings really healed all of us, and we thought we can carry it, we can share it, and we can reach out to all the elderly people and children as well. And then we made it threefold of these videos. One of them is the light tempo, the other one is the fast tempo, etc. And we also had some comments. People said that they started to run or walk at their home at the start of their day. In our trainings as well, we saw that this was something that got into people's lives. Of course, and people got very used to it, of course, but we started to touch people in this way. For example, okay, people said that we can get trained online, fully online. People said we can learn how to walk, how to run on the internet and YouTube, etc. But think about a woman, a mother with her baby. This mother wants to do something, to move, to survive with her body, to make her body feel alright. But while taking care of the baby, how does this mother go to a gym and do exercise? Therefore, online learning, e-learning, is something that they said, the mother said, that I can do it while taking care of my children too. So, another topic is the concept of yoga. The concept of yoga perceived differently. The perception of yoga from people's minds have removed with the online learning, as they saw on the videos, regular normal videos on the YouTube. And another topic is in studios, for example, any woman with scarf could not, in the past, could not go to the gym or could not get any training on the studios as well. However, now in the online learning, you don't have to be in Istanbul as well. You can be in any part of the Turkey. And not only you don't have to be in Turkey as well. Dubai, California, you can be in any part of the world. Most people, especially the expats or Turkish people in abroad, or any women or any person, any working mother, started to get trained with in a comfortable way. And of course, these developments accelerated the way we look at this training. As we were already ready, we knew the pros and cons of such training. Therefore, the COVID-19 has become a very good transition for us, very fruitful, promising transition for us, and also for people as well. For a mother not being able to take care of her child, or any women not being able to go outside and get trained with the scarf on, for them or for many people, we saw that such training can be sustainable and very beneficial, and we were really pleased to provide such trainings, and we were really pleased to have positive comments. Thank you. We heard of it and saw on the news as well. We had some psychological problems as well at the home. When we were at the home, there are some people going very introvert. And in this regard, you're saying is that people can develop individually, of course, at home, but you can help them through sport to experience a great day on that day, and also to have a healthy life. Thank you very much for your participation. We thank you for your invitation as well. Thank you. We would like to thank Ms. Zeynep and Mr. Ömer. This topic has been a major talking point on the agenda throughout the COVID-19 pandemics. We saw that the family care at home is really important, and another thing that we saw is moving, going sport, doing exercise, and paying attention to our body and contributing them is not only important, but is a part of our culture, of our tradition. So this is also the thing that the pandemics emphasized in this process. I would like to thank to our President of Health Committee Chairman. He really contributed a lot. Mr. Mustafa Canitürk, he couldn't make it here. He couldn't come. I wish him speedy recovery. Mr. Levent is also closely monitoring the developments in the healthcare, which created an important topic on the agenda. Caring services will be will take a pivotal role in the future also. Caring services integrated with our culture should be crucial, is crucial. And I'd like to add that Mr. Levent has had very important initiatives in terms of the provisions of the medical equipment. And we owe him many thanks to Mr. Levent for his contribution. And I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Mustafa Canitürk. I'd like to introduce myself. Süleyman Tuna. I am Süleyman Tuna. We have been giving caring services to many people, and we provide training services to more than 1,000 students. The care, I would like to first start with what does it to be in need of care mean? And then we will talk about this situation in Turkey, and I will talk about the experiences that we had during the COVID-19. And then lastly, I will tell you a little bit about the opportunities and the risks in front of us. When we say that a person is in need of a care, it encompasses many things, from washing their hands and face, washing their clothes, any type of basic need. If these needs cannot be met, then this person is in need of care, is in need of care. So well, of course, we are taking measures, but our elderly people has had a very impact, and the COVID-19 has become a very serious concern. very serious threat. So for us to protect our elderly old people, we need to have a collaborative work. And the problems got bigger with the consequences of the COVID-19 integrated with the features of the elderly people. The Europe now we are in a position of what the Germany, Russia used to be 30 years ago, and 30 years later we will be like them. And in Turkey we have 3.19% elderly people. And in Turkey also, in the past, it was 32% of the population. As you can see, it never went down, never decreased. This percentage had gone to 7% in 2015, and now has become 8% and going bigger and bigger. And I believe going from 8 to 40 can take 10 or 30 years. When we look at Germany, the 51% of the population of Germany is under the rate of people in need. What is people in need? So any person, including baby, elderly people, are in this umbrella term of people in need. And if you are also a retired person, you're also going under this concept as well. So this rate is 51% in Germany, which is decided compared to the working people, whose age average is between 20 and 60. But we are lower than that, actually. And Germany, for example, is one of the developed countries. They have their care insurance in scope of the social services insurance, and the elderly people there are every needs of elderly people are covered in scope of the health insurance. The care insurance. The care insurance was introduced in 1960s, and after that date, all of the elderly people have been helped, and they have been helped financially. They have been paid every year, and also they have a holiday for 4 weeks as well, and they can come to our country and get and they can benefit from our insurance system as well. In Turkey, we also had this topic on our agenda too, but due to our conditions in the country, it seemed the conditions seem to be an obstacle for us to launch a care insurance. So the care insurance covers monitoring elderly people of 70% of elderly people. We also monitor elderly people, but it's about 90%. In United States, according to reports of 2016, they have 12 million elderly people, and 5.4% of the population are Alzheimer. And every person of 7 people are elderly in the United States. In China, this is a lot bigger. The figures are increasing. And as you know, Japanese and Chinese culture respect the elder people and their families, like us. They continue with their family relationship, but for a long time they have policy of single child. Therefore, they needed to improve their care system for elderly people, as there's no one to take care of the elderly people in the family. We predict that 80 million elderly people will need a care center at Turkey. So the same figures can be told for Russia, whose industry is very high, and also the Saudi Arabia as well. So what is our situation right now? Are we self-sustainable in terms of care services? And can we create this infrastructure, for example? I am 30 years old, and I will be 60 years old one day. Can the previous generation take care of me, for example, in the future? Can we proceed with this system? Of course, no. In our system today, taking care of the elderly people and the family is perishing, is vanishing slowly. So taking care of the elderly people is one of the good things that a person can do for Allah. Our Prophet also said, peace be upon him, Allah condemns any person that does not respect their elder family members, he said. So what do we plan? What are we going to carry into the future?
Yaşlılığımız için
Because when we get old, maybe we will not be in such a strong economic state, such as European countries, or we may not have petrol, oil, like Arab countries. Hopefully, we will have something, but if we don't make the good investments, if we don't work on it now, unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do. So we have to then suffer in terms of unemployment, for example, because of the past 100 years. And even thinking about the future, we will need care because we will not have such young generation as we do now. Young population is a very good asset right now, but we will get old and we will need care. And here in previous presentations, they talked about, for example, how we lived through the past of the healthcare system, and we can say the same thing for care system, because unfortunately we are still living through the yesterdays of care system. Even looking at the Darul Acize as an institution, it includes all religions, and it was started in the Ottoman times, but we cannot think about another Darul Acize. We need to increase the examples. Going into the 1960s, the first institutional care system started in the 60s, and then maybe in the 90s we started seeing some changes. In 2007, for example, there was a YADES program which means the support system for elderly people, elderly patients, geriatric patients. But when we look at the nursing homes, for example, unfortunately, there has not been much of a unification between these different programs. And of course, the government is working on these issues, but again, unfortunately, there is not much support for the private sector in this area. And unfortunately, the private sector couldn't make the leap or the boost that we were expecting. This causes anxiety for the future. But of course, there are some positive developments, improvements in this area. We have lived through, and we are still going through, a pandemic that has been difficult in all areas of life. But we are living in a culture that really values the elderly people, and geriatric patients are everything to us because of our culture and our religion and how important it is for our culture. But now we have, for example, unemployed young people, and it is kind of embedded in our minds as something. I'm talking about elderly care. It's something that is perceived as something young male unemployed people cannot do or shouldn't do. If you asked young people, they would still say this. And it actually requires university level education, but here, in other countries, but here we cannot convince even some of our young people who are not university graduates. They just finished elementary school, but they have such a perception that they don't think this is a job they should do. And now we had to, for example, organize some different schedules for our employees. They, for example, had to stay in for 15 days because of the measures taken against COVID-19, and they have their families, they have their home lives as well, so it is really pushing them to a level that is really unsettling for all of them. Of course, we take a lot of measures. Of course, we are trying to do whatever we can. But again, I would like to say that there are some positive things about this pandemic and our care system. There have been a lot of news from outside Turkey that a lot of old people, elderly people, were left in nursing homes to die, unfortunately. In Turkey, however, we never lived through such a thing, because even in the number of positive cases were minimized in nursing homes in Turkey. In my center, for example, we opened up a center for negative patients, who tested negative for COVID, so that they don't have to go into the hospitals where they can actually contract the disease. So throughout the country, thanks to the measures taken by the Ministry of Family Affairs, we were able to do this. And isolation measures, for example, for 15 days in a single person room, we took these measures thanks to the help of the Ministry of Family Affairs. And again, for palliative care, there was another institution open. So under the Ministry of Family Affairs, as institutions and centers that are acting under the ministry, we are applying the maximum level of measures. And however hard it might be, we will continue to keep the measures intact, and we will do anything we can do to protect and preserve the health of our elderly people. And now, looking at Europe and United States, this care services were already troubled in the past, and during this pandemic they have suffered immensely. And I don't know if they can get through this difficulty, but Turkey, fortunately, did a great job, and Turkey, I think, will become the biggest in the care services area. And I think it will be as big as an area of health tourism, for example. I can say that in the United States, where there are 12 million of elderly people who cannot take care of themselves, if you even take 100,000 of these people into Turkey, and from Europe as well, if you take them to Turkey, they will have their insurances from their countries and they will get the care they need in our country, which is another sector that will be booming. So it will create additional opportunity for employment, and I think this is a very good outcome in terms of our sector. And now we are reaching 40,000 care centers, and it is impossible to get all the finance and all the financial needs you require from the government. So you have to act quickly on these issues. This sector requires investment and effort, and private sector needs to earn first so that they can improve themselves. We have a lot of good opportunities, and it will always be so. And I'm not just talking about nursing homes. Uh, Look at it this way: we have a lot of contractors, a lot of people that are building roads, uh, making buildings. And I think if we put our minds to it, and if we put our efforts into it, and if we have enough investments, this will affect even the contractors, even the buildings. For example, if you make enough investments, a contractor will just consider opening up or renting out an area in an apartment block, for example. If there is an elderly person living in that apartment building or apartment block within the city center, they would not need to go anywhere else. They would have their nursing home basically under their own apartments. And for example, they could have a lobby downstairs in the entrance of the apartment building, or even you can have some visitors from the same apartment block coming into your house and visiting you, so you wouldn't feel alone. So you would have a nursing home care, and at the same time people could live in their houses without fearing for their lives, without fearing they would ever need something and they wouldn't get it. So I cannot emphasize how important this is, even if I had 2 hours here. I think for our future, for the future of our country, we need to produce new projects, and we have to consider every aspect of this issue. We need to think about the healthcare system, and we need to collaborate with the private and public healthcare. At the same time, we need to look into investments for technologies. Hopefully, just like MÜSİAD, I would like to thank them for their support as well, by the way. We developed a project for opening the country, opening Turkey into the sector of home care for our public, our people. And organizations such as MÜSİAD, if they keep their support, and I believe they will, we will, I think, develop our future, improve our future more and more every day. So thank you everyone who put
Çok
their
teşekkür
efforts
ediyoruz
into
Süleyman Bey.
organizing this event.
Gerçekten çok etraflı bir
Thank
şekilde
you. This was a very
bahsettiklerini
detailed presentation about, speech about
Gerçekten
healthcare and
etkili
care
olduğumuzun gündeminde değil,
system
farkında
and
değiliz.
nursing homes.
Evet, hayat
Yes, maybe we sometimes overlook these things, and it is always good to have someone from the sector that explains us in detail.
yaşamıyoruz belki hayatın getirdiği.
sometimes maybe because of the culture, the changes in the culture, unfortunately not many people live with their children, or they sometimes have difficulty in getting the help they need. However, this is a very good area
Çok teşekkür ediyoruz. E,
for us to focus on.
Burada benim zihnimde çok yeni ufuklar açıldı.
Here, you opened up new horizons for me, at least, and I think for our participants. We started to think about new areas, new things, and we really understood in depth how important healthcare systems are, and how we can actually combine the virtual and digital with the physical system, and long-term entrepreneurship and long-term investments and their results. We need to focus on not seeing a rapid return in our investments, but we need to focus on how important investments are, especially with those jobs that require R&D work. So this long-term perception, I think, needs to be settled in the society and in the public, in the eyes of the public, so that we can actually realize how important it is to combine public and private sectors. This collaboration between public and private sector is always important in all aspects of life, but with the healthcare system we can see how fast it actually improves the system when we put our minds to it, when we work together, especially with the public and private sector collaborations. So thank you for this emphasis, and we need to see life and health as the wellness of the body and the soul. So we need not to focus solely on the physical health, but also spiritual health and our health in general. So this definition was also another eye-opening thing for me. And I want to add something, especially MÜSİAD's contribution to our country in terms of economics and entrepreneurship and improving business. They have tremendous contributions, and we in healthcare sector, alongside with our services coming from the past, we are now still working for a better system, better healthcare system in the future. And this leap, this boost in healthcare system, of course, requires some investment and serious investment. We are analyzing and trying to develop projects for new technologies in healthcare system. We develop projects for, or theories for healthcare system. Another sector is the pharmaceuticals. As pharmaceuticals have been focused deeply in the recent years, especially the need for raw materials for pharmaceuticals has become more and more evident, and this is an area that we try to focus on more. And we had another project for pharmaceutical side of the healthcare system. Also, there are some nutritional supportive products, and they are also kind of booming. And I think this is very important for us to be involved in this area. I myself am really happy to be working in this sector. And my name is Salih Beşir. I'm a pharmacist. I was in the healthcare sector chairman 2 years ago, and now with my friends here, I am trying to help MÜSİAD become a leading party in healthcare system. Thank you very much to all of our panelists, all of the participants who listened to our panel. Thank you for your participations, and thank you to our panelists for their valuable contributions. Thank you.
Ozan Bey merhaba. Duyuyor musunuz bizi? Ozan Bey? Ses prova 1 2 3 4 5. Saygıdeğer konuklar, değerli katılımcılar. Birazdan başlayacak olan programımıza hoş geldiniz. Ne ses çıkmıyor? Ozan Bey cevap vermiyor ki bize şu an. Ozan Bey merhaba. Yo, açık mı şey benden gelen?
Bir saniye ben gönderiyorum.
Ses prova. Ozan Bey duyuyor musunuz?
Ben şimdi size gönderiyorum Muzaffer Bey.
Duyuyor musunuz şu an? Duyuyorum. Tamam. Benim geri sesim niye dönüyor bana? Duyuyoruz rahat, bir sıkıntı yok. Sesim geliyor mu? Geliyor. Tamam, sizin de sesiniz geliyor, bir sıkıntı yok. Bir görüntünüzü açabilir misiniz?
Linkini almam lazım.
Tamam.
Daha katılacak.
Ozan Bey görüntüsünü açacaktı.
Geldi. Görüntü geldi.
Tamam. Biz de size bir görüntü verelim. Geldi mi görüntü? Ozan Bey, şimdi oradaki hoparlörden dinliyorsunuz değil mi bizi? Hoparlörün sesini biraz kısabilir miyiz? Çünkü benim kendi sesim sizin mikrofonunuzdan bize geri dönüş yapıyor. Biz buradan açalım sesi. Ses prova 1 2 3 4 5. Bir dönüş yok. Rahat duyuyorsunuz ama bizi değil mi? Duyuyorum. Tamam, biz de siz bir konuşur musunuz? 1 2 3 merhaba. Tamamdır. Yayın vaktinde konuşuruz o zaman. Teşekkür ederiz. Kolay gelsin. 3 veya 5 dakika içinde programımız başlıyor. Tamam, sağ olun. Kolay gelsin. Muzaffer Bey merhaba. Duyuyor musunuz bizi?
Merhabalar.
Muzaffer Bey, ilk başta şu uyarıyı yapayım da. Hoparlörden dinliyorsunuz değil mi bizi?
Doğrudur.
Tamam. Hoparlörün sesini biraz kısabilir miyiz? Benim kendi sesim bana geri dönüş yapıyor da salonda. Mikrofon bir yere mi sürtüyor?
Az önce öyleydi, şu anda değil.
Tamam, beni rahat duyuyorsunuz.
Evet, evet.
Bir sıkıntı yok. Kamera görüntüsü görüyor musunuz?
Sizi görmüyorum.
Tamam, salonu görüyor musunuz? Bekleyin bir saniye.
Ben şimdi gördüm.
Tamamdır. Programımız 3 dakika ve 5 dakika içinde başlayacak. Bağlantı sırasında size seslenirler.
Tamam.
Kolay gelsin, sağ olun.
Aldı mı? Selamünaleyküm. Tüm misafirlerimize öncelikle
Hello. First of all, I would like to say welcome to all of our guests. Unfortunately, our session prior to this one has been prolonged for a while, and we are a little bit delayed, and we will now, I think, catch up with the time, and we will talk about our sector, and as much as we can, we will try to explain you some things from our sector about virus economy.
geleneksel hale gelmiş.
We are now in the 24th International Business Forum, and it has been a tradition for long years. And we have our previous chairman and previous
Yapmaya çalışıyoruz. İslam dünyası
members
iş ve
that
ticaret
came before us, who did everything they can, and we are now trying to keep up with whatever they created
ilerlemelerini
in the past.
sağlamayı amaçlıyoruz ve burada çalışıyoruz. Teknoloji diyoruz.
We talk about technology, we talk about virus economy, and virus economy is actually something that occurs every 100 years. And virus and pandemics, they of course come with huge and devastating transformations when they come, when they arrive. And right now we are right in the middle of this whole process. Some economists say the effects will be going on for 5 years, for the next 10 years, and the sectors, almost 50% of them will change, will have a devastating change, and we are trying to find a way to live through this troubling time by getting the as least damage as we can get. This is basically what we are trying to do, no matter the sector. I hope that our panels here will give you some ideas about how to do that. My name is Osman Çalışkan, and I am a member of MÜSİAD Executive Board and also a committee chairman, especially in terms of information technologies. I have worked in different NGOs, and I still do, and I hope to do something valuable and something contribution to our sector. As we started with this program, the 24th IBF program, we started with the title of Virus Economy, and we will try to talk about the transformation that we are experiencing. And for this reason, we invited people to our panel who have actually tried to overcome these issues, these problems that have emerged with this problem. I would like to start with Mr. Metin and safamerve.com internet website and the, of course, connected company. He is the owner and the founder, and he is also an entrepreneur, very attacking and relentless person with a lot of good ideas, I think, in the sector. Mehmet Metin Okur. The floor is yours. Can you please turn on your mic?
Merhabalar, Mehmet Metin Okur.
Hello everyone, my name is Mehmet Metin Okur.
Emanetçisi diyelim.
Mr. Osman mentioned my name as the owner, but I would like to think that this is something that is entrusted to me, and I would like to keep it that way, keep it as in the greatest condition that I can. Safa Merve is a company that is completely online. We have 150 million export value, and we started from the bottom with my sister and with the
Pandemi sürecinde
example of
sıkıntılar
Safa
azalıyor
Merve, I
gibi
would like to
Türkiye'de, fakat
talk about
e-ticaret
how the
kârsız
pandemic affected
Türkiye'de
us.
çünkü. Safa Merve bu
E-commerce
kadar
actually
büyümesinin avantajı şu. Yurt
is
dışına
not really
ihracat
profitable
yapıyor
in
olabilmesi.
Turkey, but
Tamamen biz Safa
what
Merve
brought
olarak
us
yurt dışına
success
yaptığımız
is that
ihracatla
we actually
şirkete para yatırmadan
use the opportunity of export to get to this point that we are at today. Of course, the revenue of the company increases, but sometimes there are problems with the customs or B2C problems we are experiencing in other countries, or some countries have a different perspective and different perception on Turkish goods. So we had to overcome these problems. For example, we had some problems with the Middle East, and then we started to ship our products to Netherlands and then to Saudi Arabia and some other Middle Eastern countries. Then we started to produce our goods in Egypt, and then we tried to sell it from there, like their Egyptian goods, and then we tried different things. We tried to turn every problem we had into an opportunity, because every crisis is an opportunity, I think. Can I ask you something? Before pandemic started, your situation back then and today's situation, can you say a few words on how it changed? Of course, our revenues increased, but the e-commerce is a little not profitable for us. It's a minor revenue business. If you don't increase your turnover rates in abroad, you cannot actually become successful. Of course, compared to other websites, we are thankful because of the position that we are in. But we are selling to other countries with so much profit. And of course, if there's a problem in selling to other countries, yes, we are experiencing a lot of different problematic situation. I'm not complaining, or I'm not criticizing, but this is something that I would like to put forward as an opportunity. Other people can benefit from that as well. Okay, I would like to give the microphone to Gaboras marketing representative, and I would like to leave the floor to you now. I will be talking about Gaboras today, but my position, I have to update you on that. I'm the sales director, corporate sales director. Ghost platform is actually an asset management platform, and you have real estate purchasing and selling processes, and basic asset management, we can say. And these systems that we manage are usually, for example, rent management systems, any kind of system that a real estate sector would need. So when you look at the platform from this point of view, real estate is a quality commodity, and as an infrastructure you had to have an information pool and also some AI supported algorithms. We had to use these algorithms so that the investors who buy and sell can have some information, some general information about the real estate before they buy and sell things. After you manage to do that, after the investor gains this information, then they can actually use our online systems to decide on their investments. Looking at our general basic targets, we are not actually working on just selling or buying real estate, but we are also turning it into a asset, kind of turning it into a stock market and a stock market commodity. So we are also trying to target to turn the real estate market into a kind of stock exchange market and turn it into an asset. And this is basically
Ozan
our
Bey şu anda
objective.
Zoom üzerinden bağlı olması lazım.
Mr. Ozan, I think, is connected to us from over Zoom, I hope.
Ozan Bey,
Ozan Bey, can you hear us?
merhabalar, hoş geldiniz.
Hello,
Öncelikle Ankara'dan
Mr. Osman.
katılıyorsunuz.
You are joining from Ankara.
Sağlıkta, sıhhatte herhangi bir sorun yok inşallah.
I hope all is good.
Teşekkür ederim. Şimdi
I'm
ben
really
kısaca
happy
sizin için bir
to
bilgi
be
vereceğim.
here.
Sonra sözü size bırakacağım
I
inşallah.
will just give
Ozan
some
Bey,
information about you and then
Trendyol
leave the
Yönetim Kurulu üyemiz.
microphone
Aynı
to you.
zamanda Türkiye Odalar
He's
Odası
from
Başkanlığı,
Trendyol
Ticaret
Executive
Meclis
Board.
Başkanlığı'nı yürütüyor.
He's also in
Kısa
the
bir tespit
Assembly,
isteyeceğim sizden. Pandemiyle
Commerce
beraber
Assembly.
başlayan süreçte, pandemi öncesi ve
I
pandemi
would like to
sonrası
ask
için, bugüne
you
kadarki süreç için
for this
bir
process
tespit
before and
bekleyeceğim.
after the
Trendyol
pandemic
bu arada
started.
nasıl yaptı?
What
Benim
did
için çok
Trendyol
önemli
do?
bir girişiminiz var. O
And
konuda
you have
da
another
durmak
good
istiyorum. Bugünkü başlığımızın da
entrepreneurship
önemli alt bileşenlerinden biri.
in my eyes. You have B2C cargo and you started to kind of tackle this problem on your own. What did you experience? Why did you need to do this? And what have you done in general? Can you please elaborate on that? And then we can talk about your plans for the future. First of all, I would like to thank you for your invitations, first of all. This is also a traditional event that we are doing the 24th of. We are working with you in collaboration with you. And I would like to thank you for inviting me. I would like to also explain how the pandemic affected us. We are now going through a crisis that we've never seen the likes of before in our lifetime. And we unfortunately started to have some limitations on our daily lives because we needed it was required. And since the 1930 Big Depression, the biggest economic shrinkage is actually experienced right now. 1,300,000 people lost their lives globally. Now we are almost living in a fiction. This is, of course, a very saddening issue for all countries all around the world, from all religions, from all different countries. This is something that affected all of us. But what did it cause in the economy? A lot of people lost their incomes, lost their savings, and a lot of people became unemployed. There are masses of people who are struggling to make their rents, and especially in our geography, in our local regions, we felt the effects of the pandemic. And of course, with the IMF and the countries, governments have worked on stimulus packages for maybe around $12 trillion. It's a huge number. And also some works on the vaccine is showing some hopeful results. Hopefully we will get to the end of this pandemic. And we will not reach the end fast. We know that. And I know that from the Gulf region and from the Middle Eastern region, we have a lot of participants here. Usually our winters are really lovely. And also in Dubai and the United Arab Emirates, it is lovely to be in those countries in the winter, for example, but unfortunately we cannot go there right now. We are living this second wave, I think. We are moving into the second wave. And Yes, it is depressing, it is problematic, but e-commerce is becoming and has become a fresh breath of air for commerce in general, for the economy. The volume of e-commerce has increased rapidly, and it was a boost since June 2018 to today. Not only in our country, but in America, for example, it increased to 10 to 13, I'm sorry, 10 to 17, and even to 17% to 23 in United Kingdom. There have been so many changes. Imagine a train going on the railroad, and immediately there's a switch in the direction. This is not something that we are used to, but the trade doesn't change, so the railroad is still the same, the commerce is still the same, but we are now looking into different modes of commerce, and we are experiencing this all
Teşekkür
together.
ediyorum ben.
And then I will talk about in the next part how we did
Canım Mobile,
as
Muzaffer Bey,
Trendyol.
dördüncü panelistimiz
And our fourth panelist hopefully will be Muzaffer
bu
Bey.
hastalıktan ötürü
He
karantinaya
unfortunately is under
girdi.
quarantine due to
İnşallah,
COVID-19,
tez zamanda
and hopefully
atlatmasını,
he will get through
ve
this
Rabbinden şifasını
rapidly. May Allah help him
Muzaffer Bey,
in his
sizden
recovery. Mr.
bekleyeceğim.
Muzaffer,
General
I will
Mobile'ın,
now
bu
ask you
pandemi sürecindeki
what General Mobile
dönüşüme nasıl ayak
did
uydurduğuyla ilgili bir
keep up with the
merakımız var.
pace
Bununla
of
ilgili,
transformation during this pandemic.
neler yaptığınızı
Can you give us some
anlatırsanız
insights about what you
sevinirim.
did?
Thank you very much for your intentions and your wishes. I hope we'll be having our healthy lives soon. I also got down with COVID-19, but now I am okay. As General Mobile, we had initial problems in the supply. In the December of 2019, we had real problems with the components that we imported before the virus spread all of the world. We had these problems with the components, and we have taken precautions. As you know, we are producing the General Mobile phones in Turkey, and we have many exports. But in this era, in this COVID-19 era, we have an ambiguity in the process, and sometimes we have to make changes. So in the May, we weren't able to produce the products, but in May, we changed the way we work, and we recovered from this unstable supply and demand dynamic, and now we have become more successful in terms of our performance, because the people started to pay attention to the price performance products, and also we got into the business of tablets, considering this boom in e-learning and e-education, and this also affected the national production of our products. And we also had a digitalization process before the COVID-19, and on the occasion of COVID-19 we accelerated this process. Our staff worked independently from our facilities, and we managed to get adopted in this process. You said until May we couldn't work. So did you have a selling problem on March when the COVID-19 cases were announced? As you know, you cannot produce without imports of the components. In our stocks, we had components for 3 or 4 months, but after February and until May, we could not produce. We could not initiate production phase. But on this month, we had to consider what we can do for the future months, because the supply was also a problem in terms of the materials that we get from China. Adoption of the alternative components as well as their softwares is really important, and this caused a loss of 3 months for us. But then we
Teşekkür ediyorum Muzaffer Bey.
managed to get adopted and
Hepimiz biliyoruz aslında.
make use of it.
Ticaretin pandemiden
We all know
önce
that
e-ticaret zaten yine büyüme
e-commerce
büyüyordu.
tended to
Pandemide
grow
çok
in past,
daraldığını
of course,
düşündüğümüz bir ticaretin pandemi sonrası beklenenden daha hızlı bir şekilde
but
büyüdüğü gibi bir
the e-commerce
sürprizle
grew
karşılaştık. Bunu
much
birçok
bigger
şirketimiz
after
yaşadı.
COVID-19,
Uluslararası şirketler
and we witnessed
çok hızlı bir
it.
şekilde satın almalara girişti.
Many companies and many
Veya
businesses
ülkelerdeki
started to
benzer
invest
sistemin sahip
in
olan şirketleri
buying,
alma yoluna gittiler. Fakat buradan
and also they
Muzaffer Bey'in
incorporated
özellikle
the companies.
söylediğinden yola çıkarak söyleyeceğim.
They
Ürün tedariğinde o
And
üretim
another thing
aşamasında
is that
diğer komponentleri
in supply
tedarik
phase,
için, yani tedariğine ihtiyaç duyulan ürünler için diğer ülkelere, diğer pazarlara yine ihtiyaç var. Dolayısıyla
the other markets,
doğrudan
of
doğruya
course,
çok hızlı bir şekilde
always
çıkış pek mümkün gözükmüyor.
needed
Fakat bu
for the
dönüşümü
provision of the
hızlı
parts.
yapmakla bir avantaj
There is no
elde
point of exit,
edilebiliyor.
of course,
General Mobile
but
bunlardan
this
bana göre en
transformation
önemli örneklerden biri. Çünkü ülkede
is really
diğer
important, and
isim
General Mobile is, I
çok
think,
söyleyemeyeceğiz
one
ama
of the best
Çinli,
examples.
büyük üreticilerin
For example,
Koreli yine büyük üreticilerin ürünlerinin
the
yanında
Chinese
çok hızlı bir
manufacturers
çıkış elde edip pazarda kendi yerini daha da
had a really
büyütebildi, daha da
good
genişletebildi. Bunun için ben
performance
General Mobile ve Muzaffer Bey'i özellikle tebrik ediyorum. Yakından
by working collaboratively with Korean,
firmaydı.
and also I'd like to congratulate General Mobile for
Tekrar buradaki
showing such performance as well.
Ben işin biraz da gelecek açısından nasıl yürüyeceğiyle ilgili tahminlerde bulunmasını istiyorum.
I also want you to make predictions about the future as well, because
Az önce Metin Bey'le konuşurken söylemiştim.
as I said while talking to Mr. Metin,
Elektronik ticaret sistemleri içerisinde, lojistik sistemleri içerisinde robotiğin kullanıldığı bir
for example, IoT, robotics are being used in the future, and the technology is growing rapidly.
Şimdi
We used to talk about it, and we used to say that in 10 years we have them in our lives, but it seems in a few years we will witness them to be in our lives. What do you think about it?
Yine sorumu yineliyorum.
I would like to reiterate my question as well. For example, textile and other fields can be common in terms of e-commerce, internet environments. And how about the artistic side? How will the artistic side be incorporated into the e-commerce?
Fiziksel mağazalar zaten kan kaybediyordu. Yani bunlar tamam ölmeyecek ama bir kan kaybı
Of course,
söz konusuydu.
there's a case of losing the blood.
Alışverişlerde de bir kan kaybı alışveriş merkezlerinde.
When we looked at the shopping malls, they also had some loss.
Ben şöyle görüyorum.
But
Dijital mecranın
I think
alışveriş merkezleri, marketplace'ler, normal sitelerde normal bizim dükkanlarımız sadece kanal değişti.
the digital markets
Dediğiniz gibi Covid süreciyle belki
will be prevalent, and just the medium has changed. This was something that we have in our lives too. It was changing. It wasn't something new with the COVID-19. If we give an example from abroad, what I mean is, for example, the supply chains is breaking. For example, we try to buy oranges from a person who has a bigger field. We can see that the advertisement is getting from micro to
dijitalde bir
micro.
reklam yapmaya.
So in digital era, the business model is promotion for one individual.
Sene önce %65
So in
pazar
shopping,
Lazada Marketplace 2 katı büyümesine rağmen bugün
the Lazada marketplace
Peki ne olmuş?
has market share of 35%.
40 milyon tedarikçiyle Instagram'dan, sosyal medyadan ürün satan insan Filipin halkı Lazada'ya rakip.
For example, the
100 bin tedarikçi 40
the
milyon
Philippines
tedarikçiyle baş edebiliyor mu?
has become a real rally to Lazada with their consumers of 40 million people thanks to Instagram.
Kendi ürünlerinin tanıtımını yapıyor. Lazada'nın reklamını yapmadıkları için bir reklam
As
kaybı.
Lazada did not make any advertisement of themselves, they lost their possible consumers against the other competitors. So the website, the marketplaces doing niche business are getting bigger compared to the others. What I mean here is more micro businesses are in hype these days.
Villa nasıl daha hype'sa, işte cloud teknolojisi, distributed cloud'a nasıl döndüyse,
How,
diye biz
for example,
konuşuyoruz.
we are talking about the cloud. Cloud system has become more hybrid cloud system.
Yüksek binalarda oturma ve ya da otursa
Nature once said
yüksek binada otur.
that
Villaya nasıl geçtiysek bugün işimizi taşıyoruz.
you should not stay in long buildings, and we got into villas, the small houses.
Fabrikalara bölmek durumundayız.
The examples can be varied.
Toplar B2B iş modeli B2C'ye kayıyor.
The B2B business model is getting into B2C.
Satışa dönüyor işler. Bütün alanlara
The businesses are getting into individual sellings.
tamamen
When we look at all of the business models, we see that everything will be underway in a virtual and social manner.
B2C, B2B kavramlarında C2C'yi en son konuşuyorduk.
In concepts of B2B and B2C, we used to talk about the C2B. Now we are talking about the social media becoming a marketplace. What I mean is Pinterest, Facebook, or Instagram are becoming a place for niche production, niche manufacturers who can reach their end user and carry their products. So isn't it something that contradicts with the aims of some websites like sefaverme.com?
Ticaret hayatını etki eden şirketler var. Bunların
Of course, there are some companies like Amazon, for example. What do you say about it?
karlar haricinde söylüyorum. Kâr eden şirket olmadığını düşünüyorum ben.
I don't think there is any company making profit, minor profit,
Tarafından kâr.
but they make a profit out of technology. For example, Alibaba too, they make a profit out of technology.
Değerlemeler o kadar büyüyecek ne de kâr edecekler. Peki bizde niye yok? Teknoloji.
Why don't we have this, for example? Because we don't have an e-commerce technology company.
Biz de aslında Sefa Merve olarak
We, as Sefa Merve, said that
2,5 milyar Müslümanın hassasiyetlerini gözeten, harama hiç bulaşmayan bir marketplace olabilir miyiz?
can we create a marketplace which is sensible for Muslim people and in which halal products can be placed?
Bir ürün gönderdiğimizde bu
When we send,
kendi içinde bunun helal olduğunu düşünebiliyorsa biz Sefa Merve helal olur.
we can consider Sefa Merve as a halal marketplace if a consumer says, okay, this is halal. What we aim is to please a person and make that person, that end user, to think that the product that they have in their hands is halal.
Alibaba'nın modeli şu. Çin'de hem işsizliğe
The business model of Alibaba is something that
daha çok ürün satacak. Yani
aims to remove the unemployment of the Chinese people.
masa üstünde. Mobilde conversion %1,5.
The conversion is important. In the mobile is 1.5%, but they say that their performance
Buraya baktığımızda neler yapılır?
is not pleasing
Ve
me.
Alibaba'nın modelini inceledik. Bunu nasıl gibi WeChat,
And we examined the business model of Alibaba.
L'Oreal dükkan açtı WeChat'te. Buralar
For example, WeChat will also looked at WeChat, in which L'Oreal also found it in a marketplace.
şifreye, password'e gerek olmadan bir login sistemi. WhatsApp
L'Oreal has something, a login system without any credentials.
Fotoğraftan bir elbisenin fotoğrafını çekip WhatsApp'tan Sefa Merve'ye attığınızda ona benzer ürünü bulup
For example, you can send a photo of any product
üzerinden
and you on WhatsApp,
yani bir
and Sefa Merve can find that product.
şifreni pasörünü girip para çekmekten bahsetmiyorum. WhatsApp'tan çıkmadan para çekebileceğiniz bir iş
And
modeli
we developed a business model in which you can make your payments through WhatsApp without
Konuyu ben
getting out of WhatsApp.
siz kendiniz geldiniz zaten bağlı olduğu için.
I was going to make this point as well, but you already said it. Yes. So this is the only way that you can make profit out of it.
Girişimde bulunuyor musunuz? Mesela beraber
Is there any initiatives of yours
var mı? Yurt dışında
about working collaboratively with the other companies? I know there are some companies that you work with abroad.
yapıyor musunuz yoksa tamamen
Do you collaborate or you work in-house? We started in-housing as an in-house company, but then we created ZZZG,
Müzesi'nin biletleme işini de WhatsApp üzerinden bu yapıyor. Hem Dubai'deki hem Fransa'daki
which, for example,
account'un
does the ticketing services of the Louvre Museum in France, for example.
e-commerce ticaret işini döndürüyor.
This is basically the e-commerce through chatting, through chat applications.
Mağazadaki tezgahlara maaş ödüyorsunuz.
For example, in a
O evinde duruyor ama ürünü de en iyi o tanıyor. WhatsApp üzerinden yönlendirip tezgahlara istediğiniz gibi her saat
you can send any product to the person, to the staff, and on the
gerçek esnek çalışma diyebilir
on store by sending that product, the picture of that product through WhatsApp, and that person, that staff, can find it and get informed. So we're talking about the e-commerce type of business model through chatting, right? Yes.
Çok çok iyi. Tabii burada aslında çalışanlar müşterilerle daha birebir ilgilenmek.
So in this type of model, the workers need to get in contact with the consumers more, right?
örneğin girin WhatsApp'tan
For example, you can check it on, just get logged into the Sefa Merve. You can write, I'm looking for a red dress, for example. That chatbot can give you and advise you the product that you're looking for. If it cannot help you, then the staff members can help you. So I think, as far as I can understand, you will be going towards other related initiatives, right? So China has cured the unemployment by this model.
ve diğer Instagram, diğer kanallarına ürünleri pazarlayan 10 tane öğrenci koyuyor. Bunlara komisyon verdiriyor. Komisyonda ürün satıyor.
They
Ama onlar para
employ
hem çimiri,
students, for example, and pay them
konversiyonu da yüksek.
who can do this work
Tatmin oluyor.
and give them commissions. And in this model, they can make profit out of it.
Tekrar web sitesi, pazar
Thank you
yerleri
very
üzerinden
much.
başladık. Elektronik
We
ticaret
started with the e-commerce
pazar yeriyle devam ediyoruz.
and marketplaces. We'll be continuing with the marketplaces as well.
Önümüzdeki 2 yıllık,
I would like to learn from Mr. Ozan Acar about the next plans of Trendyol in a few years ahead. Trendyol was sold a conglomeration, a big company, but they did not do anything about the administration, the inner administration of Trendyol. And I know that they created the very prominent board with prominent members. How much do they plan to impact the economy? And also, how do they think to steer the e-economy, e-commerce in the economy, as well as the future plans? Thank you. Trendyol had an investment from Alibaba, of course, but before that as well, Trendyol has received investments from USA as well. You have to have investments from abroad to improve your performance. which is also important for the cash inflow, the foreign currency cash flow. There is a company called MPA. They conducted a survey to the directors of the companies, and they asked, what countries do you have interest in, and what sectors? Here, the directors of the capital funds said, when it comes to Turkey, the sectors are e-commerce, is financial fintech technology. This company is based in Washington, by the way. The high penetration means strengthening, which means strong selling infrastructure. So our country, Turkey, has an attractive environment. This being the base of the production, the motto was one of the things of Turkish Industrialists Association. We have this infrastructure. We can produce a quality product with a little cost. So as Mr. Metin said earlier, we don't have any technology company coming from Turkey. Actually, Trendyol is going towards making this dream come true in terms of creating such company. If you look at the East, we have not seen any strong technological e-commerce company, but Trendyol is a candidate. But Trendyol is not a single company, by the way. Trendyol has more than 80 partners. Sorry, 80,000 partners. And we should talk about the employment of these partners as well. What we aim is to digitalize the shopping and develop it with a national infrastructure developed by 1,000 Turkish students. We try to strengthen the digitalization process of this phenomenon. So we also talked about the share, the increase of the rates as well. So what enables is the strong cargo infrastructure of Turkey. When we look at the cargo infrastructure of Turkey, our infrastructure can transport one product from Marmaris to Rize, for example. The structure of our cargo, our shipping companies is ready for such performance. If it weren't for such performance and these companies, Trendyol wouldn't be able to show such performance. In order for us to get the market share of 30%, the shipping is not something big, actually. We try to talk about it in our board meetings as well, how we can strengthen the shipping infrastructure of Turkey, which is really important because it enables us to get the connectivity. In order to improve the urban areas, metropole areas, or non-metropole areas, you need to connect these two, and the shipping companies are the one who make this happen. On the one side, the things that we need to do to improve our shipping companies We need to improve the technological infrastructure as well. What we do is artisanship as well, but we make them sell things, but we do it digitally on the internet. If we are using digital infrastructure, then the companies of shipping companies should use it as well. Now we are talking about what policies can be followed to make this happen. So in order to achieve these satisfaction levels of the consumers, we said that we can create a network of shipping. We called it Trendyol Express. And in this company, in this phenomena, people can come and become the carrier, become the transportation carrier, which increases the number of people, the number of carriers, as well as the number of products that we carry, because it also increases the workload of the shipping companies, and Trendyol is supporting them. So, of course, we are using the power of technology as well.
Geleneksel kargo şirketlerinden az önce bir memnuniyet hissi aldım ben. Siz öyle bir şey söylediğiniz gibi geldi bana.
As far as I understood, you are pleased with the performances of the traditional shipping companies. You said they're already developed. We also know that in terms of shipping methods, we had really serious problems. But I think they were enabled to adapt themselves fast to this new era, and they had problems. But you developed a new solution. And by the way, now traditional shipping companies are going towards creating new solutions for these small products. I think you also adopted the same policy. But you did it fast. But how the traditional shipping companies were not able to do that, like you did? Are they old, or is it something else? Maybe we can talk about the future projections as well. What I want to say earlier was, if the e-commerce in Turkey has reached the 17% market share, if we had a boom in terms of growth, shipping companies have contributed a lot. Without them, we couldn't be able to perform such success. So we should not. And of course, the demands of the consumers, the number of sellers are increasing, the load is increasing, workforce is increasing. So there is always a problem that you need to recover from. When you make organization in a company, I'm not talking about temporary solutions. You have to make real, permanent, consistent changes in order to be successful. So these traditional companies cannot be agile enough sometimes, and there may be some concerns when they cannot meet all the needs of the consumers, but it's always increasing. The workforce is always increasing. It's indispensable. We have to make it strong. We need to hold it strong. But we have obstacles, of course, in front of us. We need to make bilateral agreements with the public as well, which we do, actually, in our meetings as well. But it's impossible to wait. There is a demand and we need to supply. And for that reason, Trendyol Express is doing it. Not only Trendyol Express too. One of the important efforts is the endpoint shopping. For example, you're going to carry a product and bring it into a door of a person, the consumer. For example, that carrier goes and sees that there are more than 500 products to be distributed to all households. The, carrying a product, going all of the phases of the carrying, is against the, of course, the costs and also the environment, and we need to decrease. We need to decrease the cost of the shopping. So we say that there should be a access point. There should be a delivery machines. For example, we can leave that product on any store on the neighborhood, and that person, that consumer, can come and get it. Therefore, the stores and also everyone will make profit out of it. So, as I said earlier, it's about switching. Our regulation with the PTT needs to be adopted in this new technological era. So, we need to define perfectly about the shipping methods and procedures. So, these new shipping methods should also be applicable and usable in our country as well.
Trendyol'un yurt dışı satışı özellikle bizim coğrafyalarımızdaki satış oranı nasıl?
How is Trendyol's sales, especially in our country? There are a lot of companies that work on Trendyol. How do they do? Well, Trendyol has two types of export model. First of all, from its own e-commerce website, and it is nen.trendyol.com. This is comprised of 26 European Union countries and United Kingdom. So if you're living in these countries, you can receive your parcel in 3 to 4 days on your doorstep. So here we don't have the marketplace model. Here we do go to some specific companies that have grown within Turkey and that is in a good quality, which we believe that will do good in abroad. And we go to these companies and we take their products and we sell them. This is Turkish companies producing Turkish products, and we take their goods and we export them. So in 2021, our objective is to bring this model into 2021, and people can come to our website and start selling their goods immediately by going onto our website and by basically logging in. And we need to do the same thing for export. I think we need to bring this model to export. And for example, think about in a country like Pakistan, for example. We become a shopping center, almost like a shopping center in that country. And then we showcase different products from different companies, and we are showcasing their products, and people can buy from these brands or different companies. And here PTT and Turkish Airlines play a big role in our export, and this is the real potential that we actually need to focus on. And this is something really exciting because we want to bring Turkey to and Turkish goods to other countries abroad. Turkish ready-to-wear textile products, for example, they are known in other countries, but how do they reach our goods? They go to retail chains in European countries. So you actually leave the added value in the border. So we want to bring this amount to our country as well. This is what we are aiming for. Thank you very much, Mr. Ozan. You have been very insightful. And now I would like to leave the microphone to Mr. Muzaffer Gölcü from General Mobile. Uh, Being a hardware producer, electronic commerce and cargo side, what kind of developments and improvements do we have, or what do you see in the future of e-commerce and cargo? I know that you are very well aware of these issues. Can you share with us some insights, please? Osman Bey, as you all know, there is something that we all hear about, 5G. And with the 5G, both on mobile phones and in other areas as well, IoT, Internet of Things, will live its golden age. And in every sector and every area, we will see renewed models or re-emerging models, or maybe some very fresh and new models will emerge. 5G is approximately $33 trillion commerce volume is enclosed in this area, and you know there have been infrastructure systems for 3G and 4G and 4.5G, and 5G includes the satellites and cables and other technologies, so it kind of encompasses a lot of different areas, and computers will be included in the communication itself, and cables and computers will be talking to each other now with 5G, and it is becoming more and more possible every day to do these things with really simple tools. And of course, costs have been going down, and this led to the development and improvement of 5G. And after the communication issues are solved with the 5G, we will see whoever does it the fastest will be taking the big step into the future, I think. I want to give you an example about this. If you remember, AGT Global Research and MÜSİAD did a questionnaire in digital transformation, and there was a question with the AI and 5G support. What do you think about the transformation in the communication sector or the digital transformation in general? There was a similar question to that in terms of e-commerce and anything you can think of, basically. Almost 70% reacted to this question, answered this question positively. And just as Mr. Ozan mentioned earlier, e-commerce is both in Turkey and in the global sense. It will become a topic that we will talk constantly, and they will become to, for example, the smartphones, cell phones, they become the center of our lives. And you can follow the whole process of ordering something online. You can follow it throughout all steps of the way. And IoT systems will come to life, and other new technologies, maybe even humanless air traffic. A lot of different things can emerge, and at the same time, the consumer, we are basically aiming a consumer to get the goods they ordered as soon as possible, like mentioned, and becoming fast or being fast in what you're doing has become the key part in determining who wins in this area. And Mr. Ozan mentioned Trendyol Express, and I can see it on my screen, for example, the traffic on Trendyol Express, and we can see, you know, if it increased, if the traffic increased, or if it's normal throughout the days. Everything, such as these statistics and information, you can actually follow them very rapidly. It has become such a quick thing to follow through. And here, when you talk about IoT, is not only about the sensory part of this issue. It will be also about smart cities. For example, cars will not be talking to each other only, but the traffic light as well. So it actually encompasses a lot of different things through sensors, and you can actually see and control where people are walking or how cars are moving and how they react to traffic lights and different signs. Uh, and 5G is kind of the catalyzing power behind all this. And during this pandemic, we have made 3 different changes. One, we didn't produce tablets or computers. We started doing that because of online education. We didn't focus solely on 5G, but we really focused on that, because if there is not a distributor or the Wi-Fi distributing device in an apartment building, this would cause a problem. So we started to focus more on producing these devices, and we started some different technologies first in abroad. We signed some NDAs with 18 different countries because 5G is not really established in Turkey right now, but we are trying to create our business model not just locally but globally. We think globally, and if the customer is somewhere else, you go there. That's the mindset we have. In the digital order of this age, we will try to go to the customer and produce solutions for them. This is as simple as that, because consumer is our boss, and we have to go to their door and we have to do what they need, what they require. And with this experience we gain globally, we will bring it to a local level. And this is how we basically move towards the pandemic. Yeah, so thank you very much for your insights, and I wanted to ask you about the 5G and communication, is because I think communication is very effective, of course, in e-commerce and all of the things that we mentioned in this panel. Videos and images and the big files, for example, can be transferred from one point to another. It could be, the transfer is really fast, and it actually help us see everything online, experience everything online, and make decisions faster. So the virtual world or virtual environment sensation will be diminishing, and it will go into a more realistic feeling. I think this is important for that. Now I would give the microphone to Ms. Daria here from Gaboras, and moving on from what I just said, AI technology and the ability of transferring big files to other people in a very fast way, does it really affect the real estate? So can you sell and buy real estate without going there? Well, you said it really correctly. when you think about real estate, it's not a commodity that you move. It's not a movable commodity. So it can be assumed that it is not included in the e-commerce area. But how can you describe the customers from the perspective of an e-commerce or online environment? We determine or define or guess, predict the real estate from an online point of view. All of our information regarding real estate can be seen and evaluated online from our websites, and you can, as a customer, see the outside, which means the localization of the real estate. You can see the outside of a building or a house, any real estate. You can see the how close it is to the, let's say, metro stations, how close it is to hospitals or certain main roads. You can both evaluate the inside and outside of a real estate. And there are also investment scores enlisted in our websites, and also we explain what the investment score means to our customers. So when the customer actually goes onto our website, they have a comprehensive understanding of what real estate they are looking at. And another really positive point is that after receiving all this information, the buyer can reach and send their offer to the owner of the real estate. And if the technical issues are overcome, if the offer is accepted, at this point you can go into the transaction in a very quick way, and you can then take reservations to go and see the real estate in real life. And what we aim here is that both during the pandemic and in a general sense, for drawing the investors from abroad to our country, I think this is a very important step, because when we look at the global scale as well, I think our platform is one of the biggest ones to, or the most comprehensive ones to provide information about real estate. So in the pandemic, we experienced some increases in terms of our volume and our traffic. When you look at the number of clicks and number of demand forms, you can see that a lot of people have started to come and look for real estate online. And of course, we have done some research about our company and the expectations and the demand, but other people, our customers individually, would research about us and about real estate. But now, even the more of a in a general sense, people and businesses, for example, can go and look at the real estate in a general sense. And financially valuable area, the real estate, it would be normally really hard to buy and sell online. But now, throughout this pandemic, we realized that we are actually doing a profitable job. Does this platform only serve Turkey or other countries as well? Really important, I think, this issue. Well, in a general sense, we can provide services to all around Turkey. This is our starting point, but based on the demands coming from abroad, we are trying to duplicate the system in Turkey to other countries. We are talking to Bosnia-Herzegovina, for example. We have been continuing our talks for maybe a year. So in a short time, I think we will be able to sell and buy real estate online from here and abroad. Yes, we already started doing that, the buying and selling process has started. So can I go online and walk around the house virtually? Yes, sure, sure. You can start right now. You can go to our site and uh, go and walk around the real estate, and you can see the outside as well. It has been almost like 1.5 years. This digitalization process hasn't started with the pandemic. It started before the pandemic, but the pandemic actually helped it move a little bit further and faster. Because people used to have that perception that they would have to go and see the real estate physically, but now with the pandemic they actually think that maybe virtual is enough, at least up to a certain point. Thank you very much for your insightful information, and I'm sorry for starting a little bit late. We were delayed a little bit. Thank you very much for your participation, and thank you to our panelists for their great presentations and speeches. Hopefully, I believe we gave you some ideas about the sectors and about new developments. Maybe we ignited some thoughts in your mind. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Kapatayım mı?